This is Jenna.
And this is Heather.
And this is Conspiracies Unlocked. We are live. We have a new setup going on. And we'll see how it works.
Yes, we got a new table and chairs today. So we can access our laptops a lot easier now.
Yeah. Which I don't really want my laptop right now at all.
I'm going to need mine, yeah.
Okay, so let's start this recording. It's going to be about the Midway. Me and Heather got to go on it, so we'll start.
Hello.
Oh, let me test really quick. Watch, start testing.
Hello. Oh, I'm too close.
Yeah, hello.
Should we sit back?
Yeah, however we're going to sit.
I'm going to just sit like this, I think.
That's perfect. All right, let's do this. Hey, this is Jenna.
And this is Heather.
And this is Conspiracies Unlocked. Today we are talking about our trip to the USS Midway. We were able to go on this trip, go aboard the USS Midway in July.
I think it was June.
June of this past June.
Yeah.
Or July. And
this past summer.
we are doing the Midway right now because it is Veterans Day on Saturday. So I thought that it would be a good time to do this episode.
Yeah, in honor of the veterans and the
people who were aboard the Midway, and we like to do a theme. That's our theme.
Veterans. So thank you to all of our veterans and our current military, former military.
For keeping us safe and free to do podcasts and do whatever the fuck we want, because a lot of people aren't free to do what they want. A lot of people aren't even allowed to listen to certain podcasts like ours. We can see on the map where people listen to us, and we're all over the world. Except for China and Russia. Like, it's like all everywhere. Like New Zealand and Africa, everywhere other than China and Russia. There's not even one dot. We're even in Japan.
I saw it's in Africa too.
Yeah. So it's like we're everywhere except for Russia and China. And I'm sure that's because they are a dictator or they're not allowed to listen to us. So thank you to those who are free, who made us free.
Oh, okay. So we're laughing because we were trying to print and it wouldn't print, and now all of a sudden the printer's going.
Scared the crap out of me. We have so many technical issues, like, all the time. And we give up on most of them. So we totally gave up on this, and now it's going. So you're going to hear that going for a little bit. I
just wonder if it's going to print yours, that you're missing a couple pages, or if it's going to print mine.
It's printing yours right now. And then it'll probably print mine.
I'm so happy it's printing mine because if anybody knows me, I have to have a mouse. I cannot use the trackpad.
Oh, I was like, why can't you use it? And she's all, it's broken. I'm like, the fuck it is. It's not broken. You're broken.
No, it's broken in the sense that I need to put a new battery.
No, but the trackpad, whatever this is called. Yeah,
I call it a trackpad.
The trackpad.
It's broken.
The laptop mouse. It's not broken. I use it all the time. You're broken.
It's broken because I can't use it properly.
Yeah, she just doesn't know how to. She doesn't have very good hand-eye coordination or something. Hand-eye computer.
I have to have a mouse. In any office setting, working environment, I always had a mouse.
Yeah, I do like the mouse better. It is easier. It is better. But, it's not that I can't use my computer if I don't have a mouse. It's
frustrating to me. I'm going to grab the papers real quick and see what printed. Hold on.
Okay. And so I'll just keep talking for a second. We went on the Midway, and Heather is going to tell us a little history about the Midway, and then I will go ahead and tell you about our day at the Midway and kind of go through what happened. It was super cool. We got to a really in-depth tour where the public are not allowed to go, where people haven't gone in many, many years because there were lots and lots of spider webs. So it was dark, damp, scary, wet, and spider webs.
There was lots of spider webs.
Yeah, and we got a bomb ass, and
we did. We got to sit on a. Well, I guess we'll say that.
Yeah, but we got to sit on a live, not a live bomb. Well, they said that it is. It's a live bomb. If they lit it, it would have been a bomb.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it was a dud.
No,
like,
it was an actual bomb.
Yeah,
we did sit on it.
Yeah, so.
And actually, people might already know that if they follow us on social media, because we did already make a reel of us sitting on it. So it is on our social media of us sitting on it, and yeah.
Yes, so why don't you tell us history, Heather?
Okay, so I have some USS Midway facts for us to begin. The USS Midway is also CV-41. It is a United States Navy aircraft carrier commissioned 8 days after the end of World War II. It was the largest ship in the world until 1955.
Wow.
It was the lead ship of her class. It was in operation for 47 years from 1945 until April 11th of 1992. It was used in the Vietnam War and served as the Persian Gulf flagship in 1991 as part of Operation Desert Storm.
Wow.
Yes.
That's really cool that it lasted so long and wasn't destroyed or anything. It did its duty, it did its job, and came back alive and good and not at the bottom of the ocean. And
yeah, so it was a definitely...
I don't believe it had any major fatalities or like any major like dents or crashes or anything that would put it out of commission at all.
Not that I am aware of. It is now used as a museum, and it is docked in San Diego, California. It is the only remaining inactive U.S. aircraft carrier of the United States Navy that is not an Essex-class aircraft carrier. And the Essex-class aircraft carrier of the 20th century is the most numerous class of capital ships, and the class had 24 vessels with both short and long haul versions. 32 ships were ordered, but as World War II wound down, 6 were canceled before they even were constructed.
Wow.
14 did see combat during World War II, and the Midway did not serve in World War II. However, it was only commissioned 8 days after the end of the war, so it wouldn't have been possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like the history of it.
Does that mean that's when it first like set sail and was like operable, or is that the first day they started to construct it?
I think that's when they like requested it to be constructed. Like it was.
That's interesting.
But I might be wrong. I didn't really look into that. It was just the way that I took it when I read it.
Yeah, but that makes sense for when it was like commissioned, like when the thought of it started, and like I'm gonna commission you to make this for me.
Yeah,
you know. But why would they stop the other ships from being? Why would they stop the other ships from being built if they were just gonna turn around and make one anyways?
I guess because the war ended, they only needed so many. Yeah. Like, they still needed them.
But why would they commission a new one as opposed to not just allowing the other ones to keep being built, one of the other ones?
I'm not sure why it was commissioned and the other ones were not, ended.
The other ones were smaller, maybe, and they wanted one big ship, but they did a bunch of little ships. I don't know. I'm just speculating at this point.
I'm not sure because it does state that there's 24 vessels with both a long and short haul versions. So, I mean, that is a possibility that they just needed this version.
Yeah.
That the USS Midway served. So, the USS Midway, as we stated, is now stationed in San Diego, California. It does have a museum curator whose name is David Hansen. David Hansen has over 10 years of experience investigating paranormal activities all around California and on the USS Midway.
Did we meet him?
We did not.
That was the one guy that we couldn't meet, right? That was the one guy that we wanted
met the
to.
historian.
Yes.
We did not meet the curator. He was not there.
He wasn't there.
And what I'm about to say that he does, he no longer does that.
No, and we saw that because remember we went into his room where he used to do the ghost hauntings or whatever, and the little like
the
voodoo doll was hanging.
So, one of the roles of David Hansen as the museum curator is to keep a log of all of the unusual incidents reported by volunteer staff and guests.
Ooh, spooky.
So, because he has a history in the paranormal, he gets to go around and write down everybody's accounts of what they heard, what they saw, what it could be, because he's got to figure out, like, what's going on.
Yeah.
Jenna and I are very excited to share our own experiences.
Yes.
From our exclusive USS Midway tour we did in June. Yeah, it was June of this year. The paranormal activity has been reported on the USS Midway with numerous encounters over the years of ghosts and spirits of crewmen who have died on the aircraft carrier. And not only have they died on the aircraft carrier, but it is also believed that the ones that did not die came back after death as a sense of duty and camaraderie with their other shipmates.
Oh, because their soul was so tied to the ship.
Yes.
That makes sense.
And David Hansen, the museum curator in the past, as you stated, did the paranormal, which because of COVID, they stopped doing them. But you could actually do a paranormal tour on the USS Midway. Mm-hmm. I hope they bring it back. It would be fun. I mean, we already kind of did our own paranormal tour.
Yeah.
We didn't need the guide. We had our own guide. We were our guide. We had our own guide.
Yeah.
But just for the general population who can't do this special tour we did, it would be fun for them to be able to go some of the places that we went.
I doubt that they're going to bring it back just because I bet that they realized that for budgetary reasons, I think that a lot of things got rid of during COVID because of COVID. And then a lot of companies realized that they didn't need that. It might have been costing too much money, or for budget reasons, it just wasn't worth it.
And also, the places that we went, a lot of them were pretty dangerous, honestly. And we'll get into that. I know you have a lot of notes, and I have a lot of my account in my memory of what we did. And a lot of it was dangerous, and they wouldn't really let the general population because, can you imagine if they had a bunch of, 12-year-old, or, it'd have to be 18 at least to go where we went. There's no way.
And there was some parts where we couldn't even still go.
Well, the oxygen, too, in some places, I was getting, we'll get there. We're not there yet. Let me finish my last little part, and then we'll get there, because I know you already have your notes. But back to David Hansen, the museum curator. He actually he has taken audio recordings of spirits, and one of the voices that is reported that is going around the ship, it's kind of hard to distinguish if it's a man or a woman. It's just like an eerie sounding voice, and it constantly asks throughout the ship, what is the name of this ship? And multiple people have heard it, and it's not the kind of thing that they set up for a spooky tour and they have some audio thing. It's a legit so many people have heard the specific phrase, what is the name of this ship, that it's I'm gonna finish. Oh,
hi,
sorry about that. It did say that we were having bad connections, and I hope that does not happen again. Thank you for bearing with us.
Okay, so we're gonna go right back on here. So you were like, so you need to finish that and be like, so whatever you're gonna say or not say.
Okay.
And then I will loop it together, and then I'll start on mine.
So that is one of the major audio, I would say sighting, but it's not a sighting, it's a auditorial paranormal activity.
There you go.
Yes.
So what I've done is I have gone through our pictures and gone through everything and kind of did a timeline, and I'm just going to walk you through what we got to do. We got permission from the director of the Midway to get access to places that are not open to the general public. Heather had a list of a few places that she wanted to go to and one haunting that she had heard of that she wanted to learn more about. She wanted to go to the cold food storage locker in the bow on the 4th deck, career guidance counselor's office, and then, as she has already said, about the main deck with the whoever walking around and asking what is the name of the ship. She wanted to learn more about that. Her brother is the one that got us on the ship. He works as the plumbing engineer on the ship, and her brother responded saying that he would not go back into the cold food storage locker because it is too dark and too spooky, and he has some weird experiences as well as other people that have been in there. And so it's like very interesting that he's like, yes, no, not doing that one.
Also, we might add that a lot of these decks, it's not maintained as well as others. So you might imagine it as there's just one light flickering, yes, literally. And you have to watch because the ground, it's not even ground, but it's like a grade. It's metal. It's like rotting. So there could be a hole. Yeah. And like the ladder could be missing so it's not safe. Like some places we went, we had to really be careful
and use our phones for light.
Yeah,
and
it was
because
dangerous.
there was no light.
Yeah,
in some of the locations because they just mainly worry about where the public is gonna go. Yeah. And so where the public is, that's all freshly painted.
Oh, it's pristine.
All pretty and whatever. But these other places were like, dude, this is a scary movie. So I've been on the ship numerous times to tour with my family, and my dad was a veteran, and so like the military stuff's always like interested him. Going into it, I was super excited to see the behind the scenes and see all the stuff like they don't show people because, like I said, I've been on it a bunch of times. My dad gets in for free because he's a veteran. So the last time I was on it was for Mother's Day when I was pregnant with my oldest. So 7 years ago. Yeah. Was the last time I was on it as a regular person and just touring the ship and walking around. Doing this was like way different.
Oh, yeah.
Like, way different. Did you have any expectations before you went?
Well...
Had you ever been on it before?
So, I had been on the Midway before with my children because living in San Diego, there's specific places your kids go for field trips. You always go to the San Diego Zoo, the San Diego Safari Park, you might go to Legoland, SeaWorld. Yeah. The Midway was one of them. So I've been on tour with the kids for the Midway tour. But
when you were younger, but right next to the Midway, I don't know if it's even still there, was the Star of India. It was like a pirate ship.
And you could stay overnight, right?
I did. Yeah. But you had to go with your class. And so it was like 4th or 5th grade class. We went to the Star of India ship and stayed the night overnight.
So I never did that, but I knew that people kids did that, but that was something because my daughter was in Girl Scouts. I think that was an option for the girls. She didn't do it, but I think some troops did that as because they would sell cookies and then they would have so much money and then they get to have a meeting of what they want to do with the money. And I had heard of Girl Scout troops that would use their money to stay on the Star of India.
Yeah, that was pretty cool too. Yeah, but I don't think that you could even go on the Star of India as like a normal person. Like, you had to go in a group like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's not that big. I mean, it is big, but not compared to the Midway aircraft carrier's huge.
No, the Star of India reminded me of like a pirate ship. I think that it just used to, it was a cargo ship. I think that's what it was, but it just reminded me of a pirate ship because it had like the big ropes and sails and it was a fun ship. Yeah. The Midway was more like steel and solid and mast and that's it, and no flying anything. It was engine repair. It wasn't like a sail ship.
You know, fun fact about the USS Midway?
Huh.
Brad Paisley shot a music video on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, right?
He did.
Was it for
The
Top Gun movie?
Yeah, so for Top Gun. So we have in San Diego also the Top Gun house.
Yes, that they have moved. I was in it before they moved it, and they have since moved it a few years ago. They only moved about half a mile down the road, but they've added on to it. It's not the same.
No, but because of the Top Gun house, they used like San Diego for some of the filming, and they used the USS Midway for part of the Top Gun movie. I don't know for exactly what part.
They definitely did because they had all the merchandise. Like, we got a bunch of Top Gun merchandise. Maverick.
Yeah, but it was a new Top Gun movie.
It was the new one, the Maverick movie.
Yeah, the new one.
But we got a bunch of like little dog tags that the director gave us all these goodies. They gave us DVDs. They gave us memorabilia. They gave us we'll get into it more, but we got a lot of cool stuff.
Yes, and Tom Cruise did come on the Midway for that, and they had a whole.
Did your brother
event.
get to meet him?
I don't know if he got to meet him, but I know that he knew that he was there and stuff. But
I mean, meeting Tom Cruise isn't really on my list of things that I want to do in my life. But
I mean, it would be interesting.
Cool.
It would be
cool if you're already there, like your brother's already working there, and got to like meet him and then move on. Like, it's not one of my. It's not like it's like. But anybody else.
I'm sure it was like a big deal that he was coming because he's a celebrity. I'm sure that there was like a lot of talk about it, and I can see there would be like heightened security for that day, and there would be specific rules about like, okay, you know, you can't go to this area, or like don't approach him, or I can see different like things being discussed. But I don't see my brother, like, totally freaking out over Tom Cruise. But he did enjoy the movie. I know that.
Oh, yeah.
He did enjoy the movie. Yeah.
Probably also because he could see where, like, oh, that's on the ship. That's on the ship. That's probably part of it.
And there's jets and stuff in it that would appeal.
I've never watched Top Gun.
Really?
I know. Isn't that so crazy?
It was a good movie. I mean, when I was
how
a kid,
did you not watch that? It's like from San Diego. It's from here. Like, why did you not watch that? He's always so confused.
I don't know. I watched it when it came out when I was a kid, and I think I may have watched it maybe 1 or 2 times after. I really don't remember the whole movie, and I have not watched the new one.
Okay.
So I don't know, but I did hear that it was pretty good. If you like those type of movies, that it was a good movie.
I don't.
Yeah, I can tell.
I don't.
You're I just don't like it.
I liked Pearl Harbor, but I mean, come on, Ben Affleck, Josh Hartnett, like, okay, hello.
Yeah.
So much so that I love Josh Hartnett so much that I actually watched Black Hawk Down, which is like a war type movie. Mm-hmm. And that is when I realized I don't care how cute the actor is or how cute the boy is. I do not like war movies. That's it. I don't care. But Josh Hartnett is one that I would lose my shit over to meet.
Really?
Oh my god. Him in the faculty. VHS was literally played out. Like, it's worn out. Like, I still have the VHS. I cannot believe you've never seen it.
I'll have to watch it now.
Do you want to come over tonight and watch it?
Do I want to come over tonight and watch it? After we leave here at like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, let's go. Let's watch it. You need to watch it.
Okay. Is that like when you told me we should watch Idiocracy?
And you felt more stupid, right?
I felt smarter.
I felt like it dropped my IQ points down a lot. Okay, so anyways, back to what we did. Sorry, that was a total long tangent. Okay.
Well, it's all pertaining to the USS Midway because those movies, and we're gonna have to figure out what is going on with that. Sorry.
Well, you need to tell me so I can stop recording.
I know. It's just really frustrating because it keeps saying that it keeps going out on everybody who's watching. And then people are going to kick off before we even get into the guts of the good stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for sticking with us. The ones who have.
Thank you.
We're thinking about getting Starlink so we don't have to deal with this. Brad said that we can do that. So.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We are trying to figure out this internet problem we're having, And we are going to start getting into the really fun paranormal stuff that we witnessed.
We're not going to be there quite yet.
No,
but we're getting,
That's what this episode is going to be. So if you stick with us, it will be worth it. I just want to make sure.
Yes, it will be. I just want to make sure that it will be. I'm like, yes, we will get there. Well, because we have a couple different. We're going to do this in 2 parts.
Yeah, it's going to be a
2-part. So I'm like, I hope it's in this one because I feel like we're just setting it up. But no, there is. And you know what? The best one is in this one. Not the best one, but one of the first ones.
And then I have we have a bunch of footage that we took on the Midway.
Oh my gosh.
Exclusive places nobody can go. We are in the process of finishing editing it, and we're going to be posting it all over our social media. So you'll get to see places that you wouldn't normally see. Ever. Unless you knew somebody that worked on the ship, basically, or you knew the manager. So we are fortunate enough to know those people. So that's how we're able to do this. It looks like it's working, so I say Let's just continue.
Keep going. Okay.
And if it cuts out, I'm very sorry, everyone who's watching.
So, okay. So, do you remember what time we arrived?
We arrived pretty early.
Was it 8 or 9 a.m.?
We arrived.
It doesn't really matter, but
I can check on my phone and
I was
tell
just curious. Well, either way, we arrived 8 or 9 a.m. and it was 2 hours before the Midway opened, which the Midway opens at 10 or 11. So we had a few hours to run around by ourselves with like only people that worked on the ship.
Yeah, we had to go in like a special entrance.
Yes, I'm getting there.
Okay, you go.
So,
sorry.
So we went through the employee entrance. That was my big sentence.
It was the special entrance.
Yeah, it was a special entrance, and we did get security checked. We did get
Oh yeah, they use
the
not military.
I was gonna say magnetic.
They scan you to make sure you don't have any weapons or anything.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Metal detector.
Metal detector.
What happened to our brains?
I don't know because
we both went to mush.
I don't normally have to go through metal detectors, but yeah, we had to.
Yeah.
You have to because it is a
military ship, I guess. So, we were immediately on the main deck and met some people that Heather's brother worked with. One of them was a maintenance worker, and he kind of stole us from her brother. I didn't say your brother's name. If you want to say it, I don't. I wasn't sure.
I don't think that he minds if his name is on here.
Because they all know that we went.
Yeah.
He can't get in trouble. Okay.
I just wouldn't say last names.
Yeah, so anyways.
Yeah.
So brother's name is Clay.
Yeah.
So thank you, Clay, for letting us board the ship and also being one of our #1 fans. He listens to all of our episodes. I hope he still does.
And he's our tour guide, really.
Yeah, he was our tour guide, except when this maintenance worker kind of stole us from Clay and he whisked us down to the maintenance office, to his office. And their office was about 2 to 3 decks below the main deck. So, like, right away, we're being, like, going into places that we're not allowed to go to. Going 2 to 3 decks down where the general public, I think, only gets to go about 2 decks down. Maybe 3 for a minute, but no.
But even if they can go to those decks, there's lots of areas that are roped off.
Yeah, it's roped off.
That
that's
you
why I'm like,
can't go down that corridor or whatever.
So that's why I'm like, maybe you went down for like a minute and then came back up again. But anyways, there was about 5 or 6 desks in there with 4 of the workers down there at the time that we went down there. The staircases were very slim and some are just straight up and down. As we move through the ship and get to the lower off-limit decks, the stairs become more straight up and down. It's like a ladder, and then there are no more handrails. Like, it just... the places for the general public had handrails.
Yeah.
And, like, all this stuff, like, watch your head, like, signs, and watch your step, and pretty much bubble wrap the freaking ship.
Yeah.
The parts that we went to, there was no, like, watch your head, or, like, watch your foot, or handrails. It was just, like
fend for yourself, don't die.
Luck. Rule 1, don't die. So, also, like, the hole to go through the different levels, every level we went down, the holes that your body has to go through gets smaller and smaller and smaller the further down you get. And it's almost like you get a feeling of like claustrophobia with the rooms and hallways. And all of them, as you went down, it just got smaller and smaller. And so even the hallways, everything started to get smaller the more down you were.
But did you also, I don't know if you already wrote this, I'm sorry if I'm getting ahead, but I swear there was less oxygen, too.
No, yeah, I did not. I was going to talk about that.
Like, it was, like, hot, stuffy. Like, I almost was having, at a couple places we went, I started not having a panic attack, but almost. Because I felt like I need to get out of here. Like, I was too deep. It was too, like, I was like, I have to go all the way back up.
Yeah.
And then, it's so confined. And I'm like, is this because there's, like, a spirit or something in here, or am I tripping?
Yeah, no. So, I even have it written here, like, that you feel like everything is getting smaller and that you're, like, all of a sudden you have claustrophobia, except they are actually getting smaller. And you don't have claustrophobia. It's actually coming in. It isn't, like, a psychological issue. It's, like, a real happening that is occurring. Yeah. Like, it really is getting smaller.
The ceilings get lower.
Everything
There's more pipes.
Yes, more pipes and more, just
knobs,
things.
somebody knobs, and
knobs
somebody
and
lights
things and
buttons and it's a lot.
Yeah, and so I was getting like very I started to get lightheaded the further down we went, and I got like very, I don't know if it is because it's like fuck, you have to go all the way back up, but at the same time I don't think that was it for me. It was literally just because we were like below sea level, and even though we can't feel the ocean rocking the boat because the boat's so big, you still are. So your equilibrium, whether you can feel it or not, you're still doing it. Just like in a plane when you think that you're going straight and then you try to stand up and you're like, whoo, whoops, didn't realize that we're moving as much. Well, down in the ship, you really don't realize that you're moving at all. But like sea legs are real and like real like Marines, like people who are trained for this. That live on a ship for that long, like they get sick and stuff, you know, because it's not just because it's so big doesn't mean that you don't get sick from the swaying, because you are swaying.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
And not only that, but about the signs that said like look out for asbestos.
Oh yeah.
And then there's like parts of the ship that have water, like there is water, like water dripping,
the obsessed,
or like you look out the hole, and you can like almost stick your hand in the water in the ocean.
Yeah.
And you're like, is it time to go back up yet? But you want to keep going.
Yeah.
Because you want to see what's around the next corner.
The obsessed, abesto, whatever thing is so funny because there was the signs that say that. But then at the same time, there was a point when the signs just stopped because nobody like went to those parts of the ship after they had to put those signs on.
And the spider webs, like I've never seen.
Gosh.
It was almost like
whole
a Scooby-Doo episode with all this like.
Yeah, they were all like the drawn out stuff, like where the whole room is just spider webs and you're like going through it. But they're not like sticky like Black Widow webs. They're just like
old.
They're like old spider webs, dusty spider webs. Like. They, like, just, you barely touch it and it just all, like, disintegrates.
And then you'll see, like, random, like, things that are, like, rusty with holes in it and, like, sharp. I don't even know. It's just, like, random.
Tetanus, yeah.
Random things. Just random everywhere.
So, well, what I did love about it that wasn't so scary is that everyone was really excited to talk to us. Like, everybody was super happy to tell us what they had.
Fucking scary ghost stories.
Yeah, everybody was.
I don't understand how they work there.
The maintenance people were very excited to talk to us. The cleaning ladies, just everybody was just very even. Oh my gosh, the director was so excited to talk to us. He pushed off one of his meetings to continue to talk to us, and then they finally were like, "No, you have to come." And he's like, "Okay, fine." Like,
did you talk about them? Oh, we're not even there.
We're not even close because we don't see the director until the very end of the day. I think it was right out. It was right after we had lunch.
Okay, so the next one we should bring some of the stuff that we have.
Yeah,
I have mine. Like the little. I don't want to say because we're not there yet. But the little like. Coin.
Yeah.
I'm all whispering.
I need to find mine. I have them somewhere in my hiding spots at home. Me and Heather earlier were trying to find something. So I don't drink a lot anymore. I was drinking like all the time, but I've really cut back a lot. And I haven't done this in years, but I hide things when I'm drinking. When I get to a certain level, I will hide things because I don't want like my husband to get it, or I don't want anybody to touch it, or I don't know,
you don't want to spend it.
Or I don't, I used to hide money a lot, and then I would lose money, and then I would forget that I hid the money, and then I would find it later. Like, I found it shoved in the back of my jewelry box, and the drawer wouldn't close, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? I take out the drawer, and there is $300 chilling back there. I'm like, where did this come from? This is great. Happy day. And a lot of times I forget that I hide things. It's just gone, and I'm like, shit, what happened? And then I just, yeah. So does that ever happen to anybody else?
That happens to me too.
I was, I got so fucked up this weekend because I was organizing my kids' toys.
Yeah. So
that made me drink myself into oblivion because they have so many fucking toys, and I just got overwhelmed. And I drank, and then I remember I took a shower when I hid this item that I'm looking for.
Yeah, the little thing that we got from the Midway, right?
Yeah, so I can't find it. But anyways.
Sad day.
So.
And we'll get into what we got from the Midway later.
Yeah. So the guys back to the maintenance office. The guys in the maintenance office were telling us all about the spooky things that has happened. They told us one story that really, like, stuck out in my mind. One of the guys was sitting at his desk doing his work, and suddenly the cabinet door flew open, and the items in the cabinet started flying at him, which would be all normal and fine, except the cabinet door has a latch on it, and it's quite hard to open. Like, Heather tried to open it. We have it on video to show how hard it was open. I think there's, like, even, like, a magnet that's part of it. Yeah. So it's not like it could have just, like, fallen open.
No, you have to unlatch it, and then it has like a hole where you can put a lock too.
Yeah, and it was magnetic too, right?
Yeah, and then it has like it's already kind of like if it's not magnetic, it's just metal, so it fits together tightly.
Yeah.
And so you would have to undo the, where the hook I guess it's like not a hook, but where the latch is, you would have to undo the latch, and then you would have to forcefully open it to even open it just if it's not locked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it sounds like something from a scary movie, but he swears that happened. And
can you imagine sitting there at your desk, because this is
flying
office,
at you.
And the cabinet unlatches, it opens, and items are being thrown out of the cabinet across the room. It was a pretty large room for it to fly. It wasn't like it just felt like if the ship was like rocky and it just like slid out and fell on the ground. No, it like flew across the room.
Yeah, that's what was weird. It sounds like a scary movie. Like it just flew across the room. It didn't fall out.
And I will post the video. I do have a video of the cabinet and where it flew to.
Yes. Yeah. And from there, 2 of the maintenance guys and Heather's brother took us on our own tour. And that was when... What were their names? I forgot their names.
I think we said we weren't really going to say, like...
That's why I was just like, whatever.
And stuff.
Yeah, we're not anyways. Okay, good.
Because we do have, like, audio that we took from them, but we asked them, do you want to be on camera?
Do you want to do all this?
Can we do audio? And they said, like, we could take the audio and dictate it, but we couldn't, like, put the audio out there.
And couldn't
put their pictures.
Yeah, we couldn't name them and stuff, so.
They probably don't want to have, like, any stigma against them, just like with the UAP
just in case,
stuff.
Yeah. So, anyways, so they took us, like, on a tour, and Clay was kind of like, okay, like, I guess we're doing this, because her brother's very, like, not timid, but, like, where he doesn't want to break the rules. He didn't know how far he could push it, because we'd just gotten there, right? I felt like I was getting those vibes from, like, don't talk to anybody, don't do this, don't do that.
Well, he's like, they're working, we don't want to, like, disrupt their day, or bother them.
We don't want to, like, we just want to be, like flies on a wall. Just,
like, we're respectful of that.
Yeah.
And then that day, specifically, that we had gone... Because he is kind of like his own boss of his, like, department, he can kind of, like, you know, he makes, like, his day of what he's going to do.
Yeah, so he was able to...
So he already knew that was a good day for us to come, because he knew, like, he had already taken care of what he needed to take care of, or, like, he didn't have much to do. Yeah. So he could walk around with us. And they already knew he was going to walk around with us, so everybody already knew.
Everybody already knew.
But he didn't want to disrupt other people that actually had work to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, other people actually had shit to do that day.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it was a chill day for him.
But everybody else.
But we were kind of like stopping them from their work.
Yeah.
Like, hey, talk to us. Don't work. Take a break.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that was like kind of cool that these two, and they were with us for, I want to say about an hour and a half, 2 hours before they had to leave.
Well, remember
but Clay was like, okay, I guess we're going to go this way with them if they're going to let you. Because we were like, can we go with them? And Clay was like, yeah, I guess so. We can take them. I guess they're taking us.
But do you remember who the guy was? He was the main electrical engineer for the entire ship.
Yeah.
So he was in charge of
his people. Because at one point he sent someone. There was two guys with us, and at one point he sent the other guy to be like, go back to work. Like, you gotta go.
And then we had...
After like an hour, and then we had him for another like hour.
So we had the main like plumber
and
engineer and the main like electrical engineer for the not warship, but the aircraft carrier.
Yeah. So anyway, those maintenance guys, the main electrical engineer.
He wasn't even a maintenance guy. He was in charge of all of the everything.
That's maintenance.
Yeah, but I mean, it's way beyond that. It's like the shit my brother built is like way more than plumbing.
Well, yeah, that's why she goes, oh, my brother's a plumber for the Midway. And then Brad was like, well, my husband went with us because he's like, you guys are going to tour the Midway? Oh, I'll be the camera guy. I don't care. I will carry your shit. I will do whatever. I'm going on this.
That opportunity.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not missing this shit. So he goes with us, and he's like, Heather, your brother isn't a plumber. He's a plumbing engineer of the whole fucking Midway, you dumbass.
It's just so much easier to say that he's a plumber.
He's just the plumber. No, this man redesigned and constructed the entire plumbing for the Midway to add in bathrooms and to like suction out water because the Midway was like sinking and like all of this other shit that he did. Yeah. And like, she's like, oh, he just fixes the clogs. Like, what are you doing?
There is a lot of water in the Midway that they have to siphon out somehow.
Well, and we learned that in the Marie Celeste that it can take on water. That ships are designed, it can take on little, 2-3 feet of water at the bottom.
And then they do have ways that they can close that area off.
And then they have to siphon it back out, or the pumps to get it back out. So anyways, her brother literally designed this shit, and she's like, oh, he's just a plumber.
I mean, that's what he does.
Yeah. So anyways, so back to this, we ended up, we went through the ship, and they just kept taking us down. We ended up below the water line, and it says where the water line is on the ship. Yeah. Well, as you go through the ship, there's a line, and it says water line.
Yeah.
And we headed below to the boiler room, and this area was a tight fit. There were small areas that I'm just going to call catwalks all around, up above, that we were able to go on. And this is not open to the public whatsoever. And we were taking videos of me 2 stories up, looking down through the catwalk with boiler pipes and
wasn't
shit.
it really tight for you too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really claustrophobic.
Yeah, there was some parts where it was only maybe a foot wide that you had to walk on, and I remember your brother being like, and the electrical engineer being like, be careful. That's when he was like, fuck, what did I do allowing these girls in here? And we're just going up and down like it's a play gym.
We did kind of just go wherever we wanted.
Yeah.
But we were cautious.
Yeah.
We were very cautious.
So,
we didn't climb in where they would have put the coals and shit or whatever. The wood.
Yeah. So I totally forgot where I was. I thought I'd already
we were in the boiler room.
Yeah. So it was dark, it was spooky. Also, when that ship was in commission, that room would get over 100 degrees, and they would have 12 men working there at a time, and there was only 6 of us. So there would be double the men, and they'd be working, not standing there
and in full military
suit.
Yeah.
And what's worse is that they slept where they work. So everywhere on the ship, next to each station, there was rows of bunks. So like next to the kitchen, the boiler room, the machine shop, all the various departments to make like the ship run, there would be rows of bunks, either above it, below it, next to it. So then that way it literally is where you work, you sleep, everything is right there for you.
Yeah, you don't really leave your area.
Yeah.
If you work in the boiler room, your bed is right next to it.
So they never got to escape the heat because heat rises, and I believe the bunks were right above the boiler room. Remember how,
Yeah.
and that was the first set of bunks that we saw, and I couldn't grasp my mind around it. Remember, I was like, I don't understand, because the bunks, a lot of the bunks were gone, but you could see where the rows were, like
where because it's all metal, so where they would have put them in,
nested them in, because there's metal like an inch lip all around, so you could see where the beds would be placed into it. And I was having such a hard time visualizing this before I actually saw all the bunks, because the bunks, to walk through the bunks, you only have maybe 1.5 feet. And then the bunks are 3 high.
And you can't even sit up in the bunk.
You cannot sit up in the bunks.
You can lay flat, and maybe like your shoulders kind of touch the wall, and it's already
on both sides.
And that's for like a woman. And
yeah.
Imagine like a man.
We were when we found some other bunks, we were laying in them, trying to like see how it was. You would not even be able to like roll on your side.
And you can't sit up at all.
Not at all. No, you can't even roll on your side. You have to lay like in a coffin, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's about maybe 1.5 feet tall.
And they have a tiny little locker.
And so they're 3 bunks high. Mm-hmm. And I want to say that they're probably not even 6 feet tall. Like they're like long length for when we're laying down. Maybe barely 6. I want to say only like 5'10", because I think that I barely fit in it.
Yeah, because I'm like almost 5'6".
I'm 5'8", and I barely.
And I felt like it was really small.
Yeah. So
like lengthwise even.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Lengthwise, like I don't even think it was that big. And then yeah, like Heather said, so if your bunk was bunk 18, you would have a locker. A corresponding locker that was
no big as one
18.
Of these squares. I don't know if you can see the square on the camera, but like these squares, like
they're
that
12
was
by
about
12. Yeah. So, but we did see some others that were longer, so it'd be like 2.
But that was more like for the not the commander, but like the higher officer.
The higher officers, yeah. So the boiler room guys would get like a little nothing.
Yeah, the officers had more. They had a better everything.
Yeah.
Like better. Sleeping quarters, they had more storage locker, and they had better access to like the kitchen, like an area where they can sit that was like nicer area.
Yeah. Like looking at these like living conditions, I seriously felt like prisoners have better living conditions than the men that are fighting for our fucking country.
And women.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, back then it was probably only men. Actually.
Well, it was probably a lot more men back then. Definitely. Yeah.
So. Oh no. Sorry guys. I
She's spacing.
I got to the end of the paragraph and I flipped the page and went to go read the next page instead of like finishing the page, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. Anyways.
I just have to say that I'm loving these new chairs.
Yeah, we got new chairs and we got a table for our studio.
Yeah.
And I picked out the chairs.
And they are very cozy.
Heather picked out the table. Yeah. And they're almost like a recliner chair, but smaller. You know how it has that feel? But the recliner, it doesn't recline at all. No. But it's all very vintagey. It's probably from like the 70s. 80s?
I don't know what year they're from. But yeah, they're very comfy.
They're super comfy and they're well built. Brad brought them in and was like, "Wow, these are really good built. These are
like they're very sturdy.
They're very sturdy and heavy. These must be old." And I'm looking at them and I'm looking at them.
They're made with real wood.
Yeah, they're actually like they're not nowadays Jerome's. That's for sure.
No,
definitely not Jerry Price. So after learning about the boiler room, we went through more of the ship and headed over to the quack's office. Yeah, this was their doctor. There was some weird ass shit in this office. This was not part of the museum, so it was not like all prettified. It's just kind of how they last left it, like how the doc left this shit, right?
We have images of that.
Yes,
right?
we
Video?
do.
Okay.
But it didn't have any of the medical supplies. There were no lights.
No, there was a big light over the table.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay.
But so we used our phone for lights. As soon as we walk in, we see a large metal patient table, like the kind that you sit on, lay on, so they can show you. Except in a hole in the back, there's a hole in the back, like where your back would be, and there's a big light over it.
Huge light.
Almost what you would see in a mad scientist experimental lab.
As big as this round table, like.
Yeah. Or like, it was like some sort of torture chamber, like. So, while that was weird enough, we noticed a door that led into a tiny, tiny room, about 2 feet by 4 feet. Standing room only. Mm-hmm. We figured, or at least hoped, that this is maybe where they did hearing tests on the soldiers. That's what we were like. We were hoping that this is what occurred here. Mm-hmm. I told Heather that I would lay on the table if she went in the room. So she went in the room. We closed the door. There was a little freak out moment. I think we were just freaking each other out. There was this little window, so I could see her. And all of a sudden, she, like, sunk down, like, sat down. And I thought she was having a panic attack. And we opened the door, and I felt something weird on the door. And I screamed. And, like, it was just so weird. And it was just, like, foam on the door. I freaked the fuck out.
But the thing with being inside that little room, it was, like, a heavy metal door. And then it was padded. And I guess there was foam.
Yeah, that's what I felt. That's why I freaked out.
You know what that room was like?
An insane thing?
It was a skiff. It was a skiff.
So they could talk and nobody would be able to hear them.
It was probably for a hearing test, I'm assuming.
We hope.
We don't know. But it was like
Hopefully
definitely
it wasn't a gas chamber.
And the thing that really freaked me out is when I went into it and when the door shut, there was like, it rocked. There was some weird movement.
Really?
Yeah, it was like not stable. And I felt like I was going to get trapped in there. And it was extremely small. Like, extremely small. That's like, I don't even know how to put it into words. I just want to post that video. You took a video of me from the window, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We need to post that so they can see how small it was. And then I felt like I was going to get stuck in there. And then you felt something weird on the door. So I was like, I was freaking out.
Yeah.
And then that freaking table you laid on, you could not pay me enough to lay on that table. I'm like, what the hell? Is that where they like hook you up to the Matrix in your back? You know, it's
so
like
weird.
They unplug you from the Matrix there or what? Like,
yeah.
Why is there a big hole underneath the back?
In the back, like where your spine is, to do like spinal surgery or something. It's so weird.
And why was the light so big? And why is it called
so
the quack?
And it
didn't have a duck.
It had a duck and it said quack. That's just what they always called the doctor's office on a ship, was called the quack. And that's probably why they always say that the doctors are quacky. They're quacks. A bunch of quacks.
Navy ships are extremely unsettling.
Yeah, so I was super spooked. I did lay on the table, and then Clay was like moving all the gears to make like my legs go up, my back go up. They're all messing with all these old like ancient metal gears. And
ancient from 1992 when it was decommissioned.
Well, you know,
dude, that was in the Persian Gulf.
But you know that table
in Vietnam.
That table was probably there in Nam.
Yeah, think about how many people were injured and had to like go
lay on there. I know.
That's crazy. And you laid on it.
Yeah, so it was definitely a scary and weird experience, seeing like the huge circular light right above me. We got out of that room pretty quickly.
But the other thing about that room is when you first walked in it, you already had like a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Like without even laying on the table, without even going in the little skiff box or whatever.
I wonder if the skiff box was like that, like moving, because it was staying equal with like the ground. and while the ship moved with the ocean. So you were actually staying equal, maybe for a hearing test for the equilibrium that's in your ear, your inner ear.
Oh, that makes sense. Because it was like a box, and then there was like a box. It was like a box.
Yeah, it was.
And then with a box in the box.
Yeah.
It was a box in a box.
And you were in the inner box.
And I was in the inner box, and the inner box had like very thick walls and doors. And like the door was very thick.
Yeah, it was so.
It was like, crazy. I don't remember.
Room.
We are technically in a padded room.
So, anyways,
but the soundproof walls.
Yeah. So, not crazy walls.
No, soundproof.
They're just soundproof walls. Down the hall, we had seen newer beds, newer facilities, and this is where the juniors go and stay. The teens who like want to be in the armed forces will spend a few nights in the Midway for training. And it's called the USS Midway Flight Academy Squadron, presented by Southwest Airlines. I took a picture of it, and I was like, oh my god.
Is that the same place where all the red lights were? And all the lights were red?
No, that's a different place.
Okay.
It goes through a lot of, like, flight simulators. When we were there was a bunch of police officers, like, in and around it.
There was a bunch of men in uniform.
Yeah.
It was pretty pleasant.
So when they're there, they get to go to like a cafeteria, an actual working cafeteria, and eat there. And I took a picture of the menu, and it's a pretty plain menu. Breakfast is waffles, pancakes, or a cheese omelet, while dinner is chicken or Salisbury steak. So they're pretty much living how military would live on a ship like that. Overall, I think it's a pretty cool program for the future airmen and women of America. Yeah. So, it's really cool. So if you guys know somebody that wants to be in the Air Force, you should definitely send them to the USS Midway Flight Academy. Did I say that right? Squadron.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just to be able to do the flight simulator and stuff.
Yeah.
It would be fun. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Then we went into a locked room that was called CT Room 1. This is where a fatality happened in 1990.
Oh, yes.
There was a fire in one of the lower decks, and 3 men were unable to get out. They died in that room that we were, like, standing in. Back then, the area only had one way in and one way out. Since that horrible fatality, they installed another exit from the small area. And there's a plaque on the outside that reads USS Midway Flying Squad. This plaque is in memory and in honor of our fallen shipmates who lost their lives as a result of the fire on June 20th, 1990. MSSN Patrick U. Johnson, DC-2, Robert Shane Kilgore, HTFN Jeffrey A. Vieira, URR Heroes, the 1990 Flying Squad DCR Division.
And not to get too graphic, but isn't that the area where when the water went off because there was a fire, one of the men survived in the water for a couple days, like before they could get to him, but he was severely burned and then he later died, right?
Yeah,
it was like really graphic.
That was that one, yeah.
Yeah, and isn't that the same place where up the stairs just above that?
Something happened. I was trying to remember what it was, so I'm glad
do you want me to say what it was? Because I remember the story.
Yes.
Okay, so you have to imagine these poor servicemen. They did perish in a fire, and one of them was strong enough to hold on. Unfortunately, he did not make it, and he was floating in the water with the bodies. Oh, gosh. Yeah. So I'm presuming that it's his spirit that maybe haunts that area. It could be one of the other crewmen, or I don't know. But what had happened in there's stairs that lead down to that area, just above where those stairs are. That's where they actually now keep a lot of plumbing supplies. Mm-hmm. Not the engineer like my brother's stuff, but like there's other plumbers that just have like general supplies in that area. And one of the plumbers or men that was working in that area, he actually experienced some pretty scary paranormal activity. And he had not known about, he may have seen the plaque, but he didn't know, like, the specifics of what had happened, and he didn't know that area is kind of a hot spot for paranormal activity. So it's not like he was feeding off stories that someone else told him. He himself had, like, put a drill down, and then the drill started spinning around on its own, like, not on, like, the bit spinning, like, it got, like, pressed on by accident, like, it was literally, like, the entire drill itself was spinning around, and he, like, freaked out, because how was it just spinning around in a circle by, like, it had been sitting there idle, like, nobody, he didn't kick it, there was nobody else with him, and there was a couple other things that had happened, I believe, with some of, like, the piping and the, you know, moving around kind of like the other room, where it would just, like, fly across and stuff and move around on its own, like somebody was throwing it, but there's nobody else in there, and it's not like where it slid off, where if the boat was a little, or it's not a boat, but like if it was a boat, it would make more sense because it would be smaller. This is an aircraft carrier. It's very stable in the water. Yeah. And it's docked in San Diego. There's not huge waves. I mean, there's a little bit of, like, movement in the water, obviously, but it's not to the point where it's going to make things roll off the shelf. No, because you don't notice.
It's more like your inner body would notice it before.
Yeah, and things were, like, literally flying, not just, like, rolling off the shelf. Like, flying across the room, spinning around in circles. And to the point where people did not want to work in that area anymore.
Wow, and that might be why it's not open to the public. And to get in that area, you had to have a special key. So even if because a lot of these things, like, oh, it's a sign, not a cop, like, we could just go past the rope and go. This you actually needed a key to get into this location.
And it wasn't hidden, it was hidden. Remember, he got it from, like, an area that was, like, not hidden, but, like, if you didn't know it was there, you wouldn't know it was there. And, like, what did he use? Yeah, I don't remember, but Brad was like, what are you doing? Yeah,
like,
it was very
really funny. And I think it's because he didn't use the key. I think he got, like, a stick from somewhere, and then he used it to prop something else up, and then, like, it was a whole Jimmy rig thing that he had going on to, like, get inside this gate, because he didn't have the key for it.
Yeah.
Not that he wasn't allowed to go in it. He was just like, oh, I'd have to go back to my office to get it. Here, hold on, I got this. I do this all the time, so I don't have to go back.
Shh. He doesn't do that all the time. He always has a key. Yeah, so that was very, hearing that while we're standing in that exact location. Yeah.
And then seeing where it
was very eerie.
Yeah.
Extremely eerie. And you did, like, I had chills just standing there.
I remember having chills standing there. Like, that was really, like, not okay.
Like, it made you feel like something was standing next to you almost.
Yeah, for sure.
It was very creepy.
Okay, well, I think that's where we're going to stop, and we are only, like, barely anything into it.
I feel like we're only into it, like, an hour of our day at the Midway.
Yeah, we are. So, we'll definitely have another part 2, maybe a part 3, but I think that we should be able to wrap it up. Maybe. I don't know. It depends how your memory is, because
I remember a lot of details.
I hope that you remember what I don't, so we can, like, fill each other in.
But I think a lot of what the viewers and listeners are really going to love is actually seeing the footage.
The videos, yeah.
Like, the footage of you down where they would put the dummy missiles.
Yeah, that was really cool.
We got to go to an area where they would put dummy missiles out on buoys. So that way, if they were attacked,
they would attack those missiles
the
first,
dummy ones,
and then
they would have the real ones.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
We got to go down there and take videos,
and that's where a lot of spider webs were, because and that leads to the ocean, straight to the ocean.
You could almost put your hand in the water.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly. So, and it was really cool when we got out of the ship and we could see it. When we were walking by, and I was like, oh my God, that's where we were. That's where I was like, that's the hole I was looking out of. This is crazy. You should have been out here so you could have videoed it and I could put my hand through.
I know.
Remember, we were like, let's go back on.
Well, the cool thing is we can go back anytime we wanted and do it again.
And just tell Brad.
And get more footage or whatever.
Stay. We should tell Brad next time, like, stay out here, just look in that hole. I'll be there soon.
He can video us.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
okay, so join us next week for the next part of the Midway.
Yes.
And our fun adventure and what we did on there. Thank you guys so much for listening, and don't forget
to share, like, and subscribe.
and email us, especially if you've been on the Midway. That would be really cool. conspiraciesunlocked@gmail.com. Thanks. Bye. All right.
I just feel so bad for the people that are watching on Facebook because we had some technical difficulties.
All the difficulties.
And you know what? Honestly, sitting here at a new table, I can't see any of the names.
We can't read anything that's
or
going
any
on.
comments
I know,
or
it's
anything.
so lame.
I have to get up and look.
I know. We won't be able to see shit.
I see Michael, Kathy, and Arlene, and I can't see
Kathy,
anything else.
what's the last name?
That's asking a lot. I can't
I know,
tell.
just whisper to me.
Something. No, I mean, I can't read it. It it starts with an L and it ends with an N. Here, I'm gonna stand
okay,
up.
never mind. I don't know.
Because
I was thinking it might have been someone else.
let's see. Oh goodness. So hello, Paul, Luke, Leroy, Jeremiah, Merlin, Mariah, Michael, Gavin, Joy, Arlene, Kathy, Michael. I can't read more than that.
That's fine. Hold on. I want to see if I can somehow do it on over here, so then that way I can look.
Oh yeah, that's better.
Yeah, but I don't think that I can for some reason. It says that we're live.
It says that we're live for an hour, but our recording's only 30 minutes.
But no, we are live for an hour. Overview.
Oh my gosh, it's so weird. See the delay on there?
I know. It's like a 30-second delay. I've timed it before
This
while
is
you were
kind of
talking.
cool because now we can see how we look with the table.
Oh yeah, better,
Hot.
bigger.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you can hear it from
Where can you hear it?
from our freaking thing right here.
Sorry, everyone. We are just kind of seeing how we look on camera on our laptop. Oh. That puts things into perspective.
Yeah. It's like she can hear for the first time.
That makes me want to whisper.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm really loud, and
Do
I'm
we look
sorry
okay?
if I'm yelling.
It's so black.
It is so dark. So, what should we put up here? Do you have any ideas for us?
I should have had a necklace today.
We're thinking about getting a neon sign that says Conspiracies Unlocked. But we're not sure what we want to do yet.
Is that what it looked like when I'm like that? That's just, I thought it froze. It didn't froze. I had to move to make sure I didn't freeze. I thought I froze. Oh, this is so weird.
It's so weird listening like this. I hate it.
Yeah, I know. Watching it's very hard too.
I don't even want to look at myself. I do like how it's far away.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's weird.
Okay.
I have to take it off. Because everything is so delayed that it just sounds so weird. I can't even do it. I'd just rather pretend like I'm just talking to you and there's no live. And I'm wondering, should we just end this live now?
Yes, it's time. It's time. End it.
Okay, so we are going to end this live, but we are going to, are we going to do another episode today?
Yeah, we are. We're still going to do like 2 or 3 more episodes today.
So
because to all today, so Coco came home sick, so pretty much,
yeah, okay, the day's been a little short.
No,
we got a lot done. We got a lot. I'm going to do a before and after picture, okay?
Yeah.
We did a
lot. So
we did so much.
Let me tell you how my day started. She's all chipper. She calls me being like, oh my God,
I dropped the kids off early.
There was no traffic. I dropped the kids off early. And she usually doesn't get to my house till 9, right? My kids, I drop off at like 8. Then I got home and I was finishing an episode. I was like making sure everything was good for work, blah, blah, whatever. Jakey doesn't go to school on Wednesdays and the other kids have half days, right? I have a babysitter for all that. I don't got to deal with this shit, right? Okay. Well, then, all of a sudden, at 8, so she calls me like 8:30, like, hey, I dropped the kids off early. I'll be there in 5 minutes. I'm like, cool, dude. Whatever.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah, like, I'm like, I couldn't find my episode. I thought the computer had deleted it. I'm like, and I knew I was being short with you. That's why I was like, I'm sorry, I just lost my fucking episode, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what to do.
Right.
And so Brad found it right as Jakey's teacher is calling because we're supposed to have a parent meeting that I totally, like,
spaced out on.
So now all of a sudden she walks in. I'm on a Zoom meeting with his teacher, and I'm like, hey, go away.
Hey, I was able to type. I'm on 3 hours of sleep, meanwhile, because I was trying to do some YouTube shit. So go look at our YouTube, please.
Meanwhile, the dogs, because we're watching my stepson's dog, Bones, because he's at the Baja 1000. My stepson's at the Baja 1000 right now. So he's gone for 2 weeks working on those cars. And so we have Bones and Peaches, and they're going crazy because she comes in.
Do they know Bones is a dog?
Bones is a dog. And then all of a sudden, the babysitter comes, and they go crazy all over again, and I'm just trying to talk to the teacher, and I'm like, oh my God, like, you go explain what's going on and have her get the kid out of here. And then, right as we're, like, starting to, like, pack everything up, everything is good, and we're gonna come down to the studio, the school nurse calls. Now I have to go pick up Coco because he is sick. So we go down, and before we even get that far, the cleaning lady comes in with her mother-in-law.
And then don't forget
to clean. What?
Me, I'm like, we need to redesign the whole studio.
And meanwhile, Heather's like, you know, I don't like the couch idea. We need to get a table and chairs. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We have to go pick up Cody. Let's just take him with us and we'll just do it with him. Fuck it. So we got lunch. We came back here. And as soon as I was about to fall asleep on the couch, I finally got Heather to shut the fuck up so I could, like, chill because we were waiting for the 5 alarm people and Brad to come, my husband, to get the kid. So we couldn't do anything anyway. So we're in here watching TV. As soon as Heather stops narrating the fucking TV for me and shuts up, all of a sudden she goes, someone's here. And I'm like, fuck me.
No, but it wasn't just the TV. I was looking up on YouTube how to make a better podcast.
That was the next half of me trying to sleep. The first half was you narrating the goddamn TV.
So I was like, look at this podcast. This is how we need to do it.
No, and before that, she's like, and the woman in the blue dress, did you see what she just did? And I'm like, Heather, shut the fuck up. And then we've been up ever since.
Do I talk a lot during movies?
No, you usually don't. You're usually quite pleasant. I don't know what you were doing. I don't know why I don't know if it was
you know why?
we were so distant that you felt sad and you wanted me to be a part of it. Because I was at this end of the couch. Coco was on that end, and she was down on the beanbag.
Yeah, we're usually like...
So maybe you were just like, I feel sad without you?
I was lonely.
I don't know. But usually you're quite pleasant through movies. Like, this time it was just... I was like, why do I care about the woman? This is your deal. It was about, like, UFOs or Project Blue Book or whatever. So
she got a new color lipstick.
The chick on the TV, is that one time what you told me? You did not.
I'm like, she got a new dress and she got new lipstick. she made a friend.
And I don't remember that at all. I think I'd already planned. Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. So anyways, that's why we're, then my husband came, we got the couch out of here, we made all this, we cleaned the whole studio. We organized the whole studio.
Huge.
We got some energy drinks, and here we are.
Energy drinks, and now we're ready to roll.
It's 5 p.m., so we still have 3 more episodes to go.
But remember, I'm on 3 hours of sleep.
You do well with no sleep.
Apparently.
I do not. All right, so yeah, end this recording. I wonder if I can end it here. That would be legit if I could end it on here.
Hi, Gina.
Hi.
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 Welcome.
Okay, bye. Hold on, let me see if I can
Comment
end it from
what
here.
we should put up here. Should we put a big thing that says Conspiracy Unlocked, like a neon, or should we put our icon, like, printed out? Like a poster, but not a poster, better? Or should we put some random decorations? Like
you would think that I could just
and...
like be like, stop this recording.
Oh, you can't stop it from your
I can't. You're gonna
computer?
have to get up. Yeah.
You know what? I wish if I had like a clicker, if I can just click it off from here. Because every single time we need it, we got to stand up and be like, and then everybody
do
has to
have
see
a
my
clicker.
boogers and be like, hey.
It's in my purse. It came with the ring light.
Well, why don't you hook it up?
Because I think you need a battery. I don't know.
We need batteries. Just like
Remember the Bluetooth?
just like with this.
Well, just like the last time, remember it was like Bluetooth and it was like a whole process to try to like do it.
Well, we might as well end this live because we're just gonna start another one in a minute anyway.
Yeah, so go end it.
We don't need to continue this.
No.
It's gonna be harder for editing if I want to put it on YouTube. So
Yes. Okay.
okay, so bye.
Bye.